Cathy from Absolutely Fabulous Bed Bath & Home in New Minas. Today we're going to talk a little bit about keeping your knives sharp. Your kitchen knife is one of the most important tools in your kitchen arsenal, and without a sharp blade you run the risk of a couple of things. A nick on your hand will not heal as quickly because it creates a ragged edge and more bacteria can get in. It's all messy. You don't want that. If you do cut yourself with a knife, you want it to be like a paper cut. Thin, very painful, but will heal very quickly and very cleanly. That's one thing. The other thing is you don't want to work that hard when you're cutting up your vegetables or your meats for whatever your meal preparation is. You want your knife to do the job, and a good knife is well balanced, and the idea is that the weight of the handle and the weight of the blade is doing the work for you. You're guiding a motion, but you're not having to put a whole lot into it. If you have a dull knife, you're putting a whole lot more into it because you don't have that lovely wedge beginning at the slice of every cut to work through whatever it is you're working through. So one of the biggest things about keeping a knife edge is you need to work on maintaining it. You can go all out if you really are an enthusiast about keeping your knife sharp. You can get yourself some stones. Zwilling will do stones that are two-sided. One is a coarse, the other is a medium. This is for knives that have no edge left on them whatsoever. You are bringing a knife back to life, so to speak. They've been used and used and used. You can rub your thumb up and down the blade, nothing happens. They're dull. So the coarse is where you bring your knife back to an edge. The medium is where you finish that edge, hone it up a little bit. And then if you are a real enthusiast, you're going to get your fine and your extra fine, and you're going to polish your blade. And when you're polishing your blade, you're taking all the little burrs that you created using your coarse and your medium, and you are smoothing that blade down to just fine line. This is an investment. Most people don't have the necessary skill or the time to do this because it is an art that you have to learn how to do this. Most of us have seen these, the steels. And what these do is they maintain an edge. So you're going to the same angle your knife blade is. And for most North American knives, that's a 21, 22 degree angle. And you're keeping that angle and you're drawing it down the whole length of the blade. You can stand it up and do it this way. And make sure you do it on both sides because North American blades have a bevel on both sides. If you were only to do one, you're finishing it on one side, you're actually weakening your knife blade because the edge is moving a little bit to one side or the other. Down. The only difference with these is the handle. The plastic handle are part of the Master Series. They are created for commercial kitchens, so they're easy to spot, but these two are identical. This steel is our Cadillac. It's a diamond dust steel. It has an oval rather than a round steel. It is much finer, and it will truly polish the edge of your knife. So it's the same idea, only now you're going to round it as you're going down. You can see I'm going down the full length of the knife, and I'm not pressing very hard because this knife is already sharp and doesn't need to be. And again, not a lot of pressure is required, but that doesn't solve your problem if you start it with a really dull knife. The other way to sharpen a knife is the pull-through. The pull-through is the idiot-proof way to hone your knife. It means that you are not going to mess up the angle at all. There's no guessing on whether you have enough pressure when you're using a steel or the correct angle. It's two ceramic wheels. There are arrows in the top. The arrows indicate the direction you're going to pull through, so you're going to pull towards you. The arrows here, if I'm holding it with my left hand, are pointing towards me. I'm going to let the weight of the blade rest in here and pull it towards me. And I've got these two little ceramic wheels that together are beveling on each side of the knife and are going to give me the perfect 21 or 22 North American, it's a little variation in there, of a knife, but I'm going to come out with a nice polished edge. This is all great, but if you don't have a good edge on your knife to begin with, you can't maintain one. So because of that, we offer a service on knife sharpening. I have, as part of my arsenal of tools, I have a commercial knife grinder. It means it does a 3-stage process of resetting the edge. If your edge is gone and you haven't got any nice little sharpness here, and that just happens with time. Cutting through chicken, meat are tough. You're cutting through those tendons, and you'll dull your knife, and then you're pushing down on a board. So over time, you just dull your knife. Now, if you were to sharpen it every day, you wouldn't lose your edge nearly as quickly, or you would hone it every day using something like this or a steel. But if you have lost the edge of your knife, you bring it in. It's an overnight service, $2 to $3 usually per knife, and you come back with a brilliantly sharp knife, and all you have to do after that is maintain it or just take care of it and bring it in once or twice a year for an edge. It doesn't matter what type of knife you have. If you happen to have any of the Japanese knives, this is a North American version of a Japanese knife, but if you have a Japanese edge, I have another set of wheels that does the Japanese edge because they have a different angle. They're a finer angle of about 17 degrees. Even little paring knives. These are our little workhorses. We tend to dull them and we think, oh, they only cost a couple of bucks. $7, $8, they're not worth sharpening. They absolutely are. A good paring knife will last you years and years and years because the steel is exactly the same quality as a lot of your knives. You just need an edge on them. So happy to be of service. Bring your knives in and let's get them sharp.